Alright, what's going on guys? Merciless Vaughn here, back with another video, and in this video we're going to be looking at my Magicka Necromancer solo build. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, please be sure to leave a like, and also if you're new to the channel or you've been here for a while, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it if you did. Please do that, and if you want to know when I upload again, just turn on the notification bell. And without wasting any more time, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, starting off with the attributes, I have 32k Magicka, my spell damage is 3115, spell critical is 59.7%, spell penetration is 7274, Magicka recovery is 1437. I have all 64 points in the Magicka. There's the event stats if you guys care about that. The crit damage is 27%, and I am running the Shadow Stone, which increases the critical damage by 17%. And that's pretty much it for the attributes and stats, so we're just gonna go ahead and move on to the gear. And as for the gear, it's going to be different from my other build videos because instead of running Spell Weave, I'm going to be running False Gods. False Gods is a trial set that you get from the Sunspire that is located in Northern Elsewhere, which is right here. The Sunspire trial. This is a DLC area, so if you don't have the DLC, and you aren't able to do trials either, you can use Burning Spell Weave if you want to. For this build, it'll just work fine. So yeah, anyways, False God's Devotion, what does it do? The 2-piece bonus gives you 641 spell critical, 3-piece bonus gives you Minor Slayer, which increases your damage done in dungeons, trials, and arenas by 5%. 4-piece bonus gives you spell critical, and the 5-piece bonus reduces your magic cost by 8%. When you kill an enemy, you restore a decent amount of magicka, and you gain movement speed for 8 seconds. So this set's really good for sustain. If you have sustain trouble, it reduces the cost of your magic abilities, and you restore magicka every time you kill an enemy, so that's really good. Going to be using the good old 1-piece slime crawl for that good critical chance, and we are going to be using the 1 monster set because we are using Ring of the Pale Order, restores 20% of the damage you deal as health. So yep, going to be having a spell damage enchant and bloodthirsty trait on this. And as for the jewelry and front bar weapon, good old Mother Sorrow, spell damage enchant, bloodthirsty traits. And Mother Sorrow said 2-piece bonus gives you maximum magicka, and the rest of the 3, 4, 5 pieces gives you a great amount of spell critical. That's going to be ran on the jewelry and front bar. And instead of an Inferno Staff, you can use a Lightning Staff, because Lightning Staffs, their heavy attack is faster than Inferno Staff, and Lightning Staffs heavy attack does AoE damage, which kind of fits this Necromancer build better than an Inferno Staff, because Inferno Staffs are really used for single target. Once we get into the skills, you'll see why it would be better to use the Lightning Staff. And it has Precise on here for the back weapon. Maelstrom Inferno Staff, weapon damage enchant, infused. And if you don't have Ring of the Pale Order, you can just easily put another Ring of Mother Sorrow on. And if you want to use this build in group content, you can use a monster set of your choice. I'm just running this Grothdar set for the AoE damage. And that is a set of my choice. If you don't have Ring of the Pale Order, or you just want to use this build in the group content, this is what you can do. Enchants and traits Max Magicka, all pieces, divines. This is a heavy piece just because I don't have a light piece. Once I get the light piece, I'll just replace this heavy piece with that light piece. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the skills. As for the skills, starting with the front bar, we have Skeletal Arcanist. You basically summon a skeletal mage that lasts for 16 seconds and does damage to the closest enemy every 2 seconds, dealing a decent amount of shock damage. And here we have Stalking Blast Bones, which summons a flaming skeleton from the ground. The skeleton runs to the targets and explodes, dealing a great amount of flame damage to all enemies nearby. And every second the skeleton spins cause chasing its target, it increases the damage of the explosion by 10%, up to a maximum of 50% more damage. So really, if you kind of use this build, you want to be as far away as possible from the boss or any ads, so you can build up the damage of this ability. For the next ability, Ricochet Skull. Lob an explosive skull at an enemy, dealing flame damage. And the thing is about this ability, every third cast, the ability deals 20% increased damage and will bounce up to 2 enemies that are close to each other. So yeah, on the third ability, it'll deal 20% more damage and it'll chain to other targets, which is good. Mystic Siphon, this is where we'll get our sustain from, mostly, and it also does a damage over time effect when you activate it. So yeah, as you can see, when there's a corpse on the ground, you activate this ability to deal shock damage over time, and while it's active, you also restore Magicka. And while this ability is slotted, you increase your overall damage by 3%, which is really good. So if you sometimes forget to activate this ability, and even if they're not in the DOT of this ability, you still restore Magicka and you still increase your base damage overall, which is really, really cool. Inner Light, we just have this here for the Major Prophecy, which increases our spell critical rating and the increased match Magicka. Here I don't have it unlocked, but you will want Shooting Star here. Shooting Star, you won't use it, you would just have it here for the Mage's Guild passive, which is this one. Increase your match Magicka, Magicka recovery for each Mage's Guild ability slotted. So on this character, my Mage's Guild isn't high enough to take advantage of this passive, but yours might be. So yeah, you will want this passive. You will want Inner Light and Shooting Star here, just to take advantage of this passive. But the ultimate, you would put this ultimate on your back bar and just use this, and then just swap to the front bar and just do the rotation here. And the ultimate for this is Glacial Colossus. You basically summon a giant flesh colossus that just deals damage to enemies in an area, and then dealing damage with this ability applies minor vulnerability to any enemy hit for 12 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 10%. So this is really a debuff ultimate to where you will want to hit the ads or the boss and they will take increased damage by 10% for 12 seconds. That's really it for the front bar. For the back bar, Elemental Drain. Major Breach reduces their physical and spell resistance and also applies Magical Steel. And you restore Magicka every time you damage that enemy. And here, since we're using the Maelstrom Inferno Staff, you'll want to use Unstable Wall of Elements, because while Unstable Wall of Elements is active on the back bar, your light and heavy attacks will deal increased damage. And here we have Unnerving Boneyard. Almost slaughtered that name of the ability. Here you just basically, it's a DOT on the ground that deals frost damage over time. and it applies minor breach, which reduces their physical and spell resistance. And also, when it consumes a corpse, it deals 50% more damage, and it's also a synergy. Here we have Harness Magicka, which is basically our shield just to absorb damage. And here we have Spirit Guardian, which is a ghost that stays by our side, which heals us every 2 seconds, restoring a decent amount of health. And while this ability is active, 10% of the damage you take is transferred to the spirit instead, which is really cool. And as for the back bar ultimate, it would be this. You would want to use this. If you have a shooting star unlocked, you throw that on the back bar like I explained earlier, but if you don't, you can use whatever ultimate you want. You can even use this ultimate if you wanted to. You just transform into a giant monster, get an insane amount of health, restore health, and every time you light attack or heavy attack, you restore health, and it deals magic damage. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But one thing with the Necromancer is that the Spirit Guardian, the Stalking Blast Bones, and Skeletal Arcanist, when their duration ends, their corpse stays on the ground, which is where you will want to use Mystic Siphon and Unnerving Boneyards. So yeah, basically when these 3 abilities runs out, that's where you would kind of want to target your Mystic Siphon and just use that on them. And it doesn't have to be this abilities. When an ad dies, it also creates corpses as well, to which you'll be able to get the bonus effects from Unnerving Boneyard and Mystic Siphon. So just a little tidbit about Necromancer. I've only been playing Necromancer for a couple months now. It's a really fun class to play. I like it. So those pro Necromancer players out there probably give you more tips and tricks, but this is just, you know, all of how long I've been playing it. This is all I'm knowledgeable about. So it might not be everything. There might be some stuff that I miss, but as I know from playing the Necromancer for a couple months, this is pretty much what I've been managed to work with and be able to figure out. And so that's pretty much it for the skills. Just gonna go ahead and talk about champion points. At the time of this video, I have 889 champion points. If you have less than me, you're kind of restricted on what you can get. If you have more than me, then you can customize the champion points however you see fit. So starting off with the green tree, really there's not much here that'll really help you with damage, except maybe Steadfast Enchant and Rationer. Rationer, which just adds the duration of any food or drink that you have active. Steadfast Enchant, your weapon enchants have a 10% chance not to consume a charge. So yeah, other than that, these 2 are probably really the must-haves that you would probably want. Everything else is just basically quality of life. You know, this just helps you get more gold. Increase the amount of gold you find in treasure chest. Crafting inspiration, dismantling stuff, gathering. So yeah, this is just pretty much what I have. You can do whatever else you want in this tree as long as you get Rationer and Steadfast Enchant. For the blue tree, what I put my points into is 20 points in precision, 50 points in the fighting finesse, 50 points in the backstabber, 50 points in the deadly aim, and 50 points in the master of arms. Now, if you want to, you can get Thaumaturge in the next patch, I believe. Unnerving Boneyards will be able to take effect of this. It doesn't right now, as of the time of this video, but in next patch, I believe that this will be able to boost the damage of Unyielding Boneyards, but as of right now, it doesn't. So I just went with this and that, and that for my slottables. I also have 20 points in the Eldritch Insight. And as for these points here in the elbow, I have 20 points in the piercing, 20 points in the flawless ritual, and I'm just making my way to unlocking this. So I just need 14 more points to unlock this, and that's where my next points will go. And when this is done, I'll put them into other places. That's it for the blue tree. As for the red tree, 50 points in rejuvenation, 50 points in the ironclad, 50 points in the boundless fertility, and 20 points in defiance, 30 in the tumbling, 10 in the mystic tenacity, 20 in the hero's vigor, 50 points in the siphoning spells, and 16 points in the hasty. And that's pretty much it. Siphoning spells will help you with sustain if you're having trouble with that. And yeah, you restore 1500 Magicka at 50 points when you kill an enemy. Hero's Vigor just increases your health. Reduces the cost of dodge rolling when you're playing solo. You'll probably dodge roll a lot. And this, whenever I'm stunned, it just reduces the cost of your break free. These max health, increase armor, and increase recovery. And here I have this just to increase my movement speed whenever I sprint, so yeah. That's pretty much it for the champion points. Like I said earlier, I don't have a lot. You might have more than me, you might have less. So you can just really customize your champion points however you see fit. Really, it just depends on your play style and what you do. But ones that you really want are these top three and this one right here. Those are I say that those are must-haves. And be sure to slot them. You know, make sure if you're putting your points into them, just be sure that you have them slotted. If you don't slot them, then they won't be taking effect. And that's it for the champion points. So yeah, really just champion points are just your play style. Like if you don't want to put any points in the backstabber, you just go ahead and put these points in the thaumaturge, since we have a few DOT abilities. Or if you just don't want to any points in direct damage, you can just take these out, put them here. Or if you want thaumaturge, you can take this out, put them there for backstabber. It's just really up to you, however your playstyle is. And also, one of the things about this build is that it's really Magicka cost heavy, even while running this False Gods. It's pretty Magicka consumption heavy, so you will really want to make sure that you will have your potions and stuff ready and have your food buffs active. And speaking about potions and food buffs, we're gonna go ahead and look at some. So best in slot potions will always and probably forever be the essence of spell power potions, and how you make those would be with the cornflower, this lady smoke, or however you pronounce it, and this water hacket. And here, essence of spell power, which grants us major sorcery, which increases our spell damage, major prophecy, which gives us spell critical rating, restore Magicka, and gain major intellect, which increases our Magicka recovery. If you really can't make these, or if you can buy them for the guild trader, or if they're too expensive, you can just use the regular essence of Magicka potions, which I have slotted here. Those will work too. if you can just get those, you can get these from just doing dungeons. Just make sure to pick them up. You really don't have to buy them from the guild trader. You can also use these crown restoration potions just from, you get these from logging in at certain points throughout the month. So yeah, if you have these will help too. They restore your all resources, and you gain major fortitude, major intelligence, and major endurance, which increases your magicka, stamina, and health recovery by 30% for a few seconds. So these are also good secondary potions if you have these. Alright, if you are able to make it, Clockwork Citrus, it gives you max health recovery, and it gives you magicka and magicka recovery for 2.5 hours. This will always and forever probably be the best in slots magicka food to use, but if you can't make these, you can always go with Witchmother's Potent Brew. This also gives you max magicka, max health, and it also gives you magicka recovery. And if you can't really go with Witchmother's Potent Brew, you can go with the eyeball food. It gives you magicka, magicka recovery. It doesn't increase your health or give you health recovery though. Alright, so here we are at a random world boss. I don't have a house or a training dummy to really show off the rotation of this build, so I'm just going to try and show it off as best as I can here. The potions that I have equipped right now are the Alliance potions that I got from the mid-year Mayhem event that was a couple months ago. But these, they're really no different from the Instance and Spell Power potions. They pretty much do the same thing. So yeah, just take note of that. So that was just me just trying to show off the rotation as best as I could. It's really simple. You would just really start off with the back bar or start off with the front bar, really. It really doesn't matter which one you start off with. You start off, but really you can start off with the front bar, start with Skeleton Arcanist. Then you can go with Spirit Guardian. The Skeleton Arcanist won't attack the boss as soon as you spawn it. It will only attack when the boss attacks you or if you attack the boss. So yeah, you can just kind of start with those off first if you want. And if you do that, yeah, you just start with Skeleton Arcanist, summon the Spirit Guardian. Then you go with Elemental Drain, Unstable Wall of Elements, Unnerving Boneyards, switch to the front bar, Stalking Bones, then you just spam the Ricochet Skulls. And by the time that second Ricochet Skull hits, the Stalking Boneyards would have detonated already, and in that scenario, you would just go ahead and use this, go with Mystic Siphon, and by the time you finish with Mystic Siphon, you will want to switch to your back bar and just reapply your dots. And by the time you go back to your back bar, the second Stalking Bone Blast would have already detonated, and then when you put down your Unnerving Boneyard, it should consume that corpse, deal 50% more damage. And that's pretty much it. You just go back to the front bar. If your Skeleton Arcanist is about to go down, you just basically summon him back up. you go ahead and just use Stalking Bone Blast again, and then just spam this. And that's pretty much it. Just wash, rinse, and repeat. If you see your Mystic Siphon down, just be sure to reapply that. You know, yeah. That's it. It's not really all that complicated. When your Spirit Guardian or Skeleton Arcanist does die, you can use Mystic Siphon from one of them. It doesn't have to be from the Stalking Boneyards. It can be from any corpse, either from Skeleton Arcanist, Spirit Guardian, Stalking Bones, or from any ad that you kill. Alright, that's pretty much it for this video. I think I covered everything. If I forgot something or missed something, please don't be afraid to let me know in the comment section down below. I've only been playing Necromancer for a couple of months. I don't know everything about this class, but what I do know, I just basically said it in the video. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel or you've been here for a while, please take the 2 seconds is all it takes to hit that subscribe button, or how fast you can move your fingers. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. And if you want to know when I upload again, just turn on the notification bell. As usual, until next time.